Good afternoon everyone, my name is Lewis. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all safe and well. Now on today's episode I'm going to be showing you, it's going to be a show and tell episode. I'm going to be showing you some of my new vinyl and sharing some of my thoughts as to why I made the purchase, and it's just an opportunity for you to see what's out there at the moment. I would say with all these albums, give them a listen to beforehand before committing to them, but they are available at this moment, so if they tick your boxes, yeah, go out and grab yourself a copy. So first out of the gate today is a welcome addition to my vinyl collection. It's another David Axelrod album, and this probably will be the last one that I will be trying to get my hands on. And the album's entitled Earth Rot. And it was, let's see if I can see immediately when it was originally released. 1970. And I will show you the cover. There you go. Yeah, it's not the most kind of like happy cover. Interesting in and of itself, and that's the reverse side. Okay, I'm just going to read some of the sticker bump which came with it. Oh, it's still got the price tag on it, who cares. Anyway, 1970s Earth Rot, the final album in David Axelrod's Capitol trilogy, and the first of his solo releases to incorporate choral vocals, set the visionary composer, arranger, producer up for his final stage as an architect of jazz fusion, and ensure that his productions would help future architects of hip-hop. Can't dispute that. Yeah, a lot of his material has been sampled heavily, there's no doubts about it. Audiophile reissued, lacquered directly from Axelrod's original EQ'd master tapes at Capitol Records by Ron McMaster. Well, thank you, Ron. Contains booklet that delves into Axelrod's incredible life and music. Excuse me. Yeah. Sorry, I got a slight tickle in the throat there. Oh, hope I ain't getting tuberculosis or something like that. Anyway, enough about my coughing fit. So, I've got a soft spot for Axelrod. I think this is the fourth album I've got of his. Usually with artists, I have probably one or two of any particular. It has to be somebody I really like to get more than, let's say, two of their albums. Normally 2 albums is enough for me and I move on to somebody else. But yeah, Axelrod, he just floats my boat. Everything he does I pretty much like. So yeah, really glad to get my hands on this particular one. Yes, let's have a quick look, see what it came with. So first of all, I will show you quickly. There was a booklet which came with it, and again it's got some of the images of his other albums. Yes, so sorry about that, I don't have that, but the other 3 I do. And this is a superb read. Goes through the process of how his albums came into being, so a really good read here. Yeah, I can't wait to get stuck right in at some point and give it a really good read as to what was going on at that stage. But I can tell you the outcome was magnificent. And now, if you have not come across Axelrod before, I wouldn't necessarily recommend this album as the launching pad into kind of getting to grips with his body of work. Yeah, there's other, in fact I will show you the one that I'm thinking of off the top of my head. It would be Songs of Experience would be the one that I would go for as an opening salvo into his body of work. And if you don't like it, then you can just leave it there. But yeah, Songs of Innocence, that's probably where I'd start off with in his back catalogue. The vinyl itself came in a paper sleeve. Not entirely happy about that. The vinyl is clean, looks flat. The weight is disappointing. I desire more in terms. You're going to always hear me say that. Well, not always, because sometimes manufacturers do give me what I want. Yeah, okay. I'm not going to start crying. The bottom lip is trembling just a little bit, but I can get over that. The pressing quality on this one is really nice in terms of it sounds fantastic. Yeah, for the fourth time, I would have liked it heavier. So nice and flat. Weight's a bit of an issue, but in terms of the vinyl itself and how it sounds, yeah, it sounds really good. So no complaints there. So that's the first album of this episode. The second album is a soundtrack album, and if you're familiar with the channel, you will know that I have got a soft spot for Italian soundtracks. I love their jazzier scores. Some of the electronica ones as well, but mainly the jazz kind of scores. I really do like that, and they seem to be crime thriller-based films, which that material seems to gravitate towards in the jazzier sense. That's normally the context that you'll see it in. So this is a Morricone album, Ennio Morricone, and the soundtrack is entitled Milano odia la polizia non puoi separare. So those who are Italian out there, you're probably having a laughing fit right now with my pronunciation of the the film title. Please forgive me. Yeah, it's I'm not a linguist as such, so I meant it with a good heart. Yes, so let me show you the cover before I continue. Yeah, a criminal in a duffel coat. So it's kind of like, for me, like seeing Paddington Bear with an Uzi. It's kind of a weird juxtaposition. So yeah, like that. Let's see. I think there was something inside here. I'll show that to you in just a second. So reverse side. It's quite nice, and I will show you that it's a gatefold. I will show you the interior. That's really nice. I really do like that. That image there, that's really set me off. So let me show you the inside, what came with it. So these are posters, well, international posters for the film in question. So that's really a nice touch. Yeah, they've given it some thought. So that's really nice that they were able to collate all the album posters from around the world and just have it as a nice little bump thing for you, the collector. So yeah, I think that's a really nice touch. That's a quality touch. Now the oh, can I even tell you when that actual film, the score came out? 1975 the score came out. So yeah, the album itself came in a paper sleeve, but already I can feel the weight is more substantial than the album that I pulled out previously. So horrible paper sleeve. Yeah, that's much nicer. That's what I want in vinyl weight. This is giving me what I want. So that's yeah, so two nice images for A and B side. It's flat because of its, yeah, super happy about that. Obviously because it's been in a paper sleeve, it's got some whatever all over it. So as with all my new albums, they will get a clean before they go in on the shelves at some point. So yeah, just super pleased about the actual weight. It's more to my liking. So yeah, there is a track on here which absolutely, I mean, it just tipped me over the edge, and it's called Raptus Homicida or Homicida. Yeah, So it's track 2 on side 1. Oh, that track is unbelievable. If you're into a David Shear, if you're into, I'm just trying to think of who else would be. Oh, and Lalo Schifrin at his best. So if you're into thriller soundtracks, this track I'm just talking about, the Raptus Homicida or Homicida. Yeah, I had to say that quietly because I'm not sure of how it's pronounced. Absolutely phenomenal. It's the theme. It's like, for when I got this album and listened to it for a few times, I was just listening to it for that track, and I must have listened to it 50 times in a row, and that was going to be my theme tune. So whenever I was, walking about, going about my business kind of thing, when I had my music on, it was going to be that track which I'd be listening to constantly. So I had a swagger, I'd just be like walking around like, yeah. So have a listen for yourselves, see if it works for you. I stumbled across this album, so brand new repress. You can get it. It may be creeping up in price because they're coming to the end of their production run. So if you are interested, give it a listen to first. See if it's the cost to how many tracks that you like for it ratio works for you, and if it does, try and get hold of it sooner rather than later, because if you don't get it on this time round, it will come back into circulation, but it could be 10-12 years before you see it again. So consider that in terms of your purchase. I'm certainly glad to have it. I'm a soundtrack person, particularly Italian. I've said that already. I've got a soft spot, so yeah, I'm gonna go for it. So there you go. The next album today is a lovely slice of jazz, and I kind of ran across this album. It was mainly the album cover art which drew my attention to it. I had never heard of the artist before. Gave it a listen to, and it's like, ooh, yeah, you've piqued my interest. This is something I want to get to know a bit better. So let's see. It's originally a 1971 release, and it's by a gentleman called John Taylor, and the album's entitled Pause and Think Again. Oh, sorry, Pause and Think Again. There we go. It's not often that you see tomatoes and motorcycles combined into an image, but there you go. On the reverse side, a large tomato. I'm not sure what the significance of the tomato is with the motorbike. The motorbike looks like it's made out of sand. It certainly doesn't look solid. It doesn't even look. Yeah, it's really weird. Maybe it's the camera filter. Yeah, maybe it's some post-production camera kind of thing. It looks like it's made out of sand. If I was to identify the material which the motorcycle's made out of, but I don't think that's the case, because that'd be hard to do the intricacies of spokes and stuff like that in sand. So I'm not sure what's going on. The album itself, yeah, I really did take when I heard some of the tracks off it, I was like, ooh, I need to know more about this. I shan't be letting this one go. And as I said, in terms of my music buying, vinyl buying, if I think something's going to be out of stock relatively easy, I just pull the trigger. Well, when something's going to come out of print relatively soon, I just pull the trigger on it. Yeah, I didn't want to wait around. I didn't want to wait for another 5-6 years to get my hands on this, or have to buy it second hand. Yeah, I liked it enough that, yeah, it's going to work for me. Hopefully with prolonged listening, it's going to live up to my expectations, but certainly of the 2 or 3 initial tracks that I heard of it, had to have it. So there you go. The album itself came in a box standard paper in a sleeve. Let's feel the weight of that. Okay, so it's kind of like a halfway house between the Morricone vinyl and the first vinyl which I introduced to you today, which was the Axelrod. In terms of weight, this is falling in between those two. It's on the more acceptable side as far as I'm concerned. Oh, it's so clean. Oh yeah, that's as flat as a pancake. I love that. Not a lot of dust on it, when you do consider it's been in a paper sleeve. This is a beautiful pressing. I'm really, really. Oh, there's a blemish there. Oh no, I can't even show it to you. I mean, the bottom lip is trembling there. Now, I'm going to give it a clean and see what happens with it. Yeah, I did play this, some of it anyway, just to make sure it was all right when I first purchased it, and I didn't notice that. Hopefully with cleaning it, it's going to do the job. Hopefully it won't impair the actual audio quality. That's my hope. And if, yeah, my suspicions is if I'm not happy with it and I try to return it or buy another copy, I'm going to struggle to get another one, because I think I was the only person who was interested in this album at that time. So let's hope that cleaning it's going to sort it out. That's kind of like, that's flattened me, that has. Yeah, I don't like when that happens, but certainly the weight of the vinyl is very nice. Yeah, what I had heard of it sounded good as well, and let's hopefully cleaning it up is gonna allay all my fears. Now, the last album today, yes, again, I just saw it out of curiosity for the cover. I just gave it a listen to, and sometimes I have to pat myself on the shoulder or on the back, because I believe I made a really good choice here. The album's entitled Sounds of Synanon, and yeah, there's a backstory to this particular album. But first of all, it's on the I got it from Pure Pleasure, and this is the album itself. Now let me see if I can quickly see when this album was originally released. No, can't see that at all. So what made me buy this particular album? The main reason is Joe Pass, the guitarist. He's sensational, and I've loved his work from afar for quite some time. I do have some of his albums, and I'm just trying to think, is there a bad one in there? I think I might have another 3 of his albums, and they're mainly collaborations. It's not him solo, it's him with somebody else. And I think I do love every one of his albums that I probably have. They're in there somewhere. Now, when I came across this one, it intrigued me, and the reason is, if I've got the story right, all the musicians who are playing on this album were in, let's just say they were institutionalized at that stage, in the sense of they had drug or alcohol issues, and they were sent to a facility to try and get themselves back onto the straight and narrow. And as part of the therapy program, they were allowed to express themselves musically. So this album represents their output from that particular program, and it's absolutely astonishing how good it is. If you just look at the album cover, you just go, yeah. And it'd be quite easy to miss this one, but I can tell you from what I've heard of this, if you do love your jazz, certainly give this one a listen. And well, if you're a real jazz head, you probably got this already. If you're dabbling in the jazz world and you've done the rounds of Miles Davis, Coltrane and that sort of thing, or you've gone into the Wes Montgomery kind of path of things and you want to kind of expand your knowledge, this is a really good album to, in my opinion, something for you to consider. Give it a listen, see what you think. I am super enthusiastic about this album, as you can tell. I will be reviewing it at some point. There's quite a pile for me to get through, but yeah, super happy to get my hands on this. I'm just chuffed to bits that, yeah, just, you know, just from the cover, which normally wouldn't have interested me, something about it said, give it a listen. Gave it a listen, and yeah, I am really, really, really glad to get this in my collection. So yeah, I can't give more praise than that. Now the vinyl itself came in quite, you know, reasonable packaging here. Can't complain about that. Now the album itself, oh goodness, that is so clean. I shouldn't sound surprised, because why shouldn't it be? I was the first person to open it, you know, since it's come out of the factory type thing. But the label itself, there's nothing imaginative about it, and it's not a problem. Okay, there's a bit of dirt on it this side, but it is as flat as a pancake, and the weight, I'm happy with that weight. Yes, please, can you do this more in future? Yeah, this is what I want. This is acceptable. It's not the heaviest vinyl I've shown you today, but it's just at the right balance. Yeah, like I said, I'm always going to moan if it's on the lighter side of things, but no complaints here. In fact, I'm as pleased as punch that it's worked out lovely. Just look at my face, I'm so happy. Do give that album a listen to if you get an opportunity. If you are looking for it, it's going to probably take some effort to get hold of it. One of two things are going to happen. Either you're going to find it in a thrift shop for 50 cents or £1 in England, because nobody knows what it is, and you've come away with like you know, a piece of gold in your hand. Otherwise, you're going to have to chase it up through one of the vendors of the repressed version, and you may or may not be in luck in terms of finding a reissue copy of it, because yeah, it's going to be out of print. So yeah, I can only wish you the best of luck in that regard. Now the last album today, yes, if you are familiar with the channel and my unboxing videos, I just gone through a spell of loads of repressed items through the Black Jazz label, and this is one of them. It's by Rudolph Johnson, and the album's entitled Spring Rain, and it was released originally in 1971. There we go. Now yeah, this guy is just too cool for school. Yeah, I like what he's doing there. So he's got a tank top cardigan. He's got the classic early 70s really flyaway collars there. Those collars, you know, the wind coming from the wrong direction, you could be lifted off your feet there. Yeah, and he's just like, you know, I'm just leaning against a tree branch kind of thing. Yeah, he's coming across kind of cool. So this particular album, yes, the Black Jazz series, quite a bit of the material certainly has floated my boat. Now, I must have bought in the last year maybe about, let's say 9 or 10 of their releases. I think a couple of them, you know, as complete albums, there's probably about 2 of them. The remainder have really good highlights, so you get 2 or 3 good tunes on them, probably 2 really outstanding tracks. So this one, I knew what I was getting into with the Black Jazz series, so I gave it a really good listen to beforehand. Came to the conclusion of let's see how many tracks are on there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, yeah. So of these 7 tracks on here, 3 of which are going to be of real interest to me. So I've already done that calculation in my head, and I was quite happy with the outcome. Do give this album a listen, see what you think. Off the top of my head, the actual title track, Spring Rain, is the real outstanding track on here, and I believe Little Daphne as well is another great track off the top of my head. But please give the album a listen to, see if it fits your tastes. If it does, it is available at this moment in time, so you will be able to get hold of it for reasonable money. But yeah, give it a listen. I'm certainly happy to have it in my collection, but I knew exactly what I was getting into. The whole album isn't fantastic. There's just 2 or 3 standout tracks, and that's good enough for me. So yeah, hence why I bought it. The album itself comes in the what's now these. Oh, I showed it to you too early. So first of all, what we should do is liner notes, which came in terms of the packaging. So gives you some context as to how this album came about. So at some stage I will be reading this particular material here. Quite looking forward to that, as a matter of fact. So always nice to get that. I would say to other record companies, please have a go at this. This is the way forward. Don't put the vinyl in the, you know, thicker cardboard inner sleeves and then have this information on top. No, have this as a separate piece of paper. That's a lovely touch. So yeah, give credit where credit's due. So the album itself, nice packaging as we come to expect with the Black Jazz label. Oops, let's try and get this out. Yeah, no complaints there with that packaging. The album itself, yeah, it's not the cleanest, but that's not a problem anyway. That's the label there. Let's show you the other side. There you go. It is, there's a slight kink in it, but it's nothing to get worried about. The weight of it, yes, within acceptable norms, and that's all I can ask, really. Yeah, it's not super light, and it's not heavy enough for me to go, oh yeah, I'm pleased as punch. No, it's in between, so perfectly acceptable. Yeah, so really happy to get my hands on this. Yeah, as I said, the Black Jazz label, you kind of got to know what you're walking into. If you like the entire material on there, then that's perfectly fine, and all power to you, and that's the way it should be. But I find with the Black Jazz label, of the ones that I have, it's the albums in their entirety don't stand up. It's just too hit and miss. Whereas if you go in knowing that it's 2 or 3 tracks maximum that you're gonna like, then it's perfect. So I made that decision. It was right for me. You may feel the same, or you might not. You might just think to yourself, well, no, as a price to material kind of equation, it's not working for you. But that's for you to choose. So that's the last album for today. Thank you so much for joining me and listening to my musings on my new purchases. I've got no one else around to really listen to me, or they don't care. So it's just nice to talk to someone out there who, yeah, who's slightly interested in what I'm going on about. So if you found the episode remotely interesting or entertaining, or both, please consider subscribing, and if you do, thank you very much if you do. Do not forget to hit the bell icon as well, so that you're kept informed of any new episodes. Please consider liking as well as sharing with anybody who you think might be interested in my content, and feel free to comment down below as well. Always good to get your feedback. Yeah, you guys out there are really nice as well, so you do suggest albums to me, and if I can get my hands on them, I will, you know, feature them on the channel at some point. So until the next episode, please look after yourselves, stay safe, and I will see you soon for another episode. So until then, take care. Bye bye.